What's on, guys? JHoyt back with you today. Welcome back to Call of Duty Black Ops 4. We got a couple of great Nuketown gameplays for you. We drop, I believe it's 81 kills in both. Maybe it's 82. I don't really know. A lot of kills, a lot of score streaks, and overall some great gameplay. So if you guys haven't seen, I think it's my last two videos. Maybe it's my last like two Call of Duty videos for sure, that we were previewing Call of Duty Championship Weekend. So there was actually a two-part thing where over 2 weekends, one was playoffs where all but the first 8 teams basically would be eliminated. Then Championship Weekend would be the final 4 teams. So we found out those 8 teams that got eliminated in the following matches. So let's go through it. So I have my predictions up as well. They're not going to be on screen, just going to read them off. But this is the results, right? The full bracket here. Starting down in the losers bracket was the Battle of Los Angeles. And in that one, we predicted Optic Gaming was going to walk away with the victory. That ended up happening. So, Los Angeles Guerrillas got eliminated. No surprise there. In our second matchup, we're going to move really quick. There's no real breakdown, just moving right through it. The Paris Legion and Seattle Surge. Seattle loses. So, our worst 2 teams are out now, which is pretty much exactly accurate. But that moves Paris and Optic Gaming on to the next round, where we gotta jump up to the winners bracket to start this one off after those 2 teams have been eliminated. So our first matchup, the New York Subliners versus the Minnesota Roker, or the Rocker, not exactly sure how to say it, but we predicted 3-1, finished with a 3-1 in favor of New York. So New York takes that one, moves on to the winners round 2. Our second matchup of the winners bracket featured London and Toronto. We predicted London to walk away with the Game 5 victory. That did not happen. Toronto walks away in the Game 4, moving them on to the next round. So Toronto kind of showing up when you didn't really expect them to be there. But hey, heck of a performance from Toronto. They move on. Optic Gaming LA goes against Minnesota. I predicted that to be a Game 5. It was a 3-0 in favor of Optic Gaming, knocking Minnesota out of the tournament. Then we had London and Paris, our 2 European teams, battling off in losers round 2. And although we didn't get this prediction right because we predicted that London was going to be there, we still sort of had it right that Paris would have lost in a 3-1 fashion. Actually, we predicted 3-2, but it's fine. London ends up moving on to the next round. But our next matchup in the winners round 2, it would be, featured our first appearance of Chicago Huntsmen versus the New York Subliners. This one a little too close for comfort. Chicago ends up taking it in a Game 5, moving them on to face off against Atlanta FaZe. Then we have the debut of the Florida Mutineers. Remember, these guys finished in 3rd overall in the regular season, so they get to be in this position. But they end up losing to the Toronto Ultra. What? We did not predict that to be there. But Florida falls down to the losers bracket and faces off against Optic Gaming, which is our next matchup. Now, if we were to predict, we actually did predict this matchup, right? So, who would it be? It's the opposite of what you think, right? Florida was such a good team. Are they the best team in the world? No, they choked. They choked miserably. That's why, and we're going to get into this in another video, but that's why this online season was such a big headache, was so many teams had such false hopes online, and such players had such big hopes online. But then they're going to go to LAN hopefully next year, and are they going to put up the same performance? You don't really know. But Florida bows out to a 3-0 from Optic Gaming LA, moving Optic Gaming LA on to losers round 4. Then we have our second matchup of losers round 3, where we had not the same prediction, but London Royal Ravens and New York Subliners facing off. London takes that in a Game 5, moving them on. But we got to jump back up to the winner's side of the bracket, where Atlanta FaZe and the Chicago Huntsmen have faced off in this one. where it could have gone either way. Chicago definitely admitted that they threw some rounds away, they threw some maps away, and they definitely could have played better. But of course, versus two Titans that, you know, something big is going to happen there, and it's going to be some good matches. And of course, Atlanta FaZe is one of the most, you know, like, biggest teams in the world, right? They're like, what, second, arguably, well, definitely a top 3 team this entire game. Like, there wasn't a time, I don't think they missed the semifinals the entire year, by the way. I think that was a stat that I saw. But this one, very close, down to the wire. Atlanta FaZe ends up taking it, which was obviously shitty, but that moves Atlanta FaZe on to the, what would be, the semifinals? Or the winners finals? I don't even know anymore. But Chicago falls down to the losers bracket. Then we had the Dallas Empire versus the Toronto Ultra. This one actually was a pretty close series. Dallas ends up taking it in a game 5. So that moves Atlanta and Dallas on to the winners finals. But in order to have championship weekend, we're going to have 2 more teams, which puts Chicago Huntsman against the old Optic. New Optic versus old Optic. And we have Chicago versus Optic Gaming LA. This one, again, too close for comfort. Great 1v1 clutch by Envoy. Absolutely crazy series here. I mean, absolutely crazy series. But Chicago walks away, secures a top 4 placing in that losers round 5 matchup versus the winner of our next match, the London Royal Ravens and the Toronto Ultra. Toronto having somewhat of a surprising run so far at this event, taking out London in the winners bracket, Florida, and then losing in the game 5 versus Dallas. Then they drop down and they lose against London. So they get the revenge against that, which solidifies our final 4. We have Atlanta FaZe, Dallas Empire in the winners bracket finals, and then we have Chicago and London fighting for that 3rd spot. But to start off, championship weekend was a doozy. Unfortunately, I had to miss all of these matches due to work, but I watched them again. Absolutely crazy series. I still have a couple more to watch, and plus I'm going to watch the grand finals once we get there. But Chicago versus London, a great series. Chicago, though, comes out with the 3-1 victory, solidifying themselves in the losers finals, securing a top 3 placement. But they had to await the winner of Atlanta FaZe and Dallas, and this was going to be huge, right? The winner of this matchup was going to go up 1-0 in the grand finals in a best of 9. Like, that's insane. A best of 9, the first of its kind in the winners finals. So instead of having 2 best of 5s, you know, bracket reset, you know, 1 series and it's done, no, we're changing it up. Big grand finals here. But this was huge, right? Battle of the Titans. Game 5, the Dallas Empire walk away with the victory, putting Atlanta FaZe down in the losers bracket for a rematch versus Chicago. Now this one would have been, you know, the cream of the crop matchup, right? Atlanta FaZe 1-1, Chicago 1-1, one went 3-0, one went game 5. I was hoping in my predictions that Chicago would have came away with the victory, and this could have been the grand finals. But unfortunately, not. Chicago ends up, I don't want to say not showing up, but they didn't come out in full force as we expected. But the Atlanta FaZe, obviously, solid team overall. A tough way to end the year for Chicago, but they do finish in 3rd with $600,000 in their pocket. I'm not sure how much that, you know, equates out to each person, but it's still obviously a huge prize pool nonetheless. And, you know, we used to be playing for $600,000 for 1st place. Now that's 3rd place. So that's just insane. But that sets up our grand final as a rematch of the winners final. Atlanta FaZe versus the Dallas Empire. Dallas obviously goes up 1-0 due to the rule set and, you know, how this series ends up working. And this one, I don't think it was actually close. I think it was 5-1, I believe. Maybe 5-2. I don't remember the final score because I don't actually have it. Like, no one posted the final bracket, which was annoying. But Dallas Empire, for sure, did win in the grand finals versus the Atlanta FaZe. So our final placements of the entire year at Call of Duty Championship Weekend 2020 is on your screen now. The Dallas Empire in first place, $1.5 million in their pockets. Atlanta FaZe right behind them in second place with $900,000. The Chicago Huntsmen in third with $600,000. The London Royal Ravens in fourth with $450,000. Then we start tying here with fifth, sixth being Optic Gaming and Toronto Ultra, both at $300,000. In seventh, eighth place, you had the Florida Mutineers and the New York Subliners at $175,000. Ninth, 10th, you have Minnesota Rocker and the Paris Legion at $100,000. And then 11th, 12th, in dead last place, you're going to have the Los Angeles Guerrillas and the Seattle Surge. Now, something I didn't like about this prize pool, yes, I like all the prizes up at the top there. But it's kind of shitty that you go to this big tournament and you get nothing. Like, I know we're not about, rewarding participation trophies or whatever, but they should at least get something, right? They played all year long. Yes, they weren't the best of teams, but they should still get something. You know what I mean? Like, there's just something. So going into next year, what are you going to do for a prize pool? I mean, what was it? $4.6 million. If you go $5 million, does that allow, some difference? I mean, first place you have, if you want to stick with 1.5 or even 2 million, whatever. First, then second place would have to be about $1 million or so. Prize pool. And then you have to go into like 750,000, maybe like 500,000, 250,000, 100,000, 75. And just kind of like scale it down from there. I don't know. But an absolute crazy weekend, some crazy matches. But what did come out of this is actually super cool. So we had Karma, right? Famously of Optic Gaming, Complexity, EG, I believe. One of those two rosters he didn't play for, but that whole big roster, with Crim 6, TP, Aches, Karma, all of them back in the day. Karma was the only 3-time winner of Call of Duty Champs. He was the only person with 3 rings. But after this event, he actually gets joined by 2 more players. He gets joined by his legendary duo in Crim 6 and another very strong player in Clayster. So that's crazy, right? We have 3 people now with 3 rings. Like, that's awesome. Now, obviously, I wish Chicago would have gotten it to give Scump and Formal each their second ring. Arcees would have had his second ring. Would have gave Envoy his first. And Pristini would have been his second as well, I believe. But absolutely crazy. So congratulations to the Dallas Empire. I obviously hate to say it, but congratulations to them. Obviously, they worked hard to get there. Atlanta FaZe, congratulations to them for getting second place. Chicago obviously falls out in third, but absolutely crazy event. Obviously, I can't say that enough. With all that being said, guys, I'm going to wrap this one up here. If you did enjoy, hit that like button down below if you haven't already. Hit the subscribe button. And as always, guys, we'll see you next time.